G'day, crew. I'm Joel. Some of you know me as Slate, and you're listening to the 3CIR podcast, where we turn hard-earned experience into real-world momentum. With me, as always, is the man who can turn a field brief into a TED Talk, Ryan Jury Delaney.
Look at you laying it on thick this morning. Hey team, I'm Jury. If you're new here, welcome to the only show where two ex-military blokes argue about acronyms, career moves, and why you're just doing my job years probably equal a qualification. We're backed by 3CIR, founded by ADF Army veterans, guided by courage, commitment, camaraderie, integrity, and respect. And that's not a motto we stuck on a wall, it's the DNA of how we serve you now.
Exactly. Our mission is simple. Help veterans, emergency services, and civilians turn experience into recognized qualifications through RPL and online learning. We know the transition isn't always smooth. We've walked it, stumbled a bit, figured it out, and built the system we wish we had.
Today's episode is one I love because it's the cleanest bridge you can build from service life to civvy success. The benefits of Defence RPL, transforming your military experience into nationally recognised quals. I mean, this is the cheat code we all wish was on the back of our discharge papers, right?
Straight up. If you've been in Army, Navy, Air Force, or served in a defence capacity here or across the ditch in New Zealand, your skills aren't just useful, they're valuable assets in the job market. Defence recognition of prior learning, RPL, turns those assets into official qualifications under the Australian Qualifications Framework.
And before you tune out thinking, sounds like a paperwork marathon, hold tight. Two things. One, we'll break it down like a teammate explaining a new range, simple, fast, and no fluff. Two, hang around because later we'll give you our 3-step starter plan, the top mistakes that slow people down, and a 2-minute trick to translate your military jargon into civvy speak.
Plus a real timeline so you don't procrastinate the way we talked about in that episode nobody wanted to hear, but everyone needed. Avoid procrastination and its consequences. We're going to give you the honest window, 4 to 8 weeks from portfolio submission to qualification. Yes, that quick.
Let's kick it off. What is Defence RPL? In human terms, it's a formal process that says your on-the-job learning counts. Not counts, kinda. Counts exactly. Assessors map your experience to specific units from training.gov.au training packages. You've been leading teams, running logistics, controlling risk, managing comms, doing security protocols. That's not soft stuff, that's competency.
And our military environment is a structured learning machine, whether you noticed it at the time or not. You get stacked with leadership courses, technical training, operational exposure, progressive responsibility. You do after-action reviews, you teach juniors, you manage kit, budgets, rosters, safety, and security. RPL recognises all that.
I still remember my first day out. I thought, all I know is how to not get yelled at by a WO2 and keep a patrol calm. Then someone asked about stakeholder management. I laughed and said, mate, I've deconflicted 3 units and an angry logistics corporal at 0200. That's stakeholder management, right?
You speak job market without realising it. That's the theme. Now, who is this for? Calling all ADF personnel, current serving, transitioning, or long since out, and our emergency service mates, police, fire and rescue, AMBOS, emergency management. If your training and ops look like military-style learning, you're in the zone.
And 3CIR's niche is Defence RPL. We specialise in translating service life into civilian quals, veteran-owned, veteran-led, partnered with Asset Training Australia, RTO number 31718. That means your qualification is nationally recognised, meets ASQA standards, and employers actually get what it means on your CV.
Let's talk straight about benefits. First, speed. Traditional study could take 6 to 12 months. RPL gets you over the line in weeks once your portfolio is tight. Second, validation. You're not trying to convince a hiring manager you did the thing. The qualification says it for you. Third, edge. In a competitive market, experience plus a formal credential is a combo that wins interviews.
It also saves money and headspace. We did an episode called How RPL Makes Qualifying Easier on Your Wallet. The short version, you're not paying to learn what you've already mastered under pressure. You redirect your cash and time to gap training or upskilling and where it actually moves the needle.
Speaking of, let's list some skills that qualify for RPL. Leadership and management, If you've run a section, a troop, a flight, or a ship department, you've done performance management, coaching, conflict resolution, planning, and risk. That maps cleanly to leadership and management quals.
Project management, think about planning exercises, coordinating logistics, running time-critical tasks, managing resources, reporting to command. That's scope, time, cost, risk, stakeholders. You've done a Gantt chart in your head at 3 a.m. Don't lie.
Logistics and supply chain. People underrate this. If you ensured equipment was serviceable, stock was tracked, transport happened on time, compliance boxes ticked, you're speaking civilian ops fluently.
Security and risk. If you've had clearance protocols, base security procedures, access control, incident response, threat assessment, that's gold in government contracting and corporate security.
Technical roles. Communications, maintenance, avionics, ICT, specialized equipment, often exceeds civilian standards because failure wasn't an option. Those skills map to technical qualifications or provide strong credit toward them.
Training and assessment. If you mentored, instructed, or wrote training plans, there's a pathway into training and assessment credentials. Add WHS. We've all sat through safety briefings, but many of you ran them, audited practices, and owned compliance. Those map to work health and safety quals.
Quality assurance and compliance too. Military runs on SOPs and audits. Civvy industries love people who can spot a process gap before it becomes a headline.
Right? Now, why 3CIR for your defense RPL journey? Because this is our backyard. We understand the nuance behind a line on your PM keys or your service record. We know what an ops cell at 0200 means, not just what it says, and our process is built around practical application, not just theory.
We operate online nationwide and face-to-face in Brisbane for those who want in-person support. We tailor to weird rosters, deployments, and family life. For current serving members, yes, you can do this while still in uniform. We run evening assessments and flexible time slots. We've done it with countless ADF members prepping their exit ramp.
Plus, the discount. If you've served these defense or emergency services, 3CIR gives you 25% off all qualifications, RPL assessments, and extra pathways. That's not a marketing gimmick. It's practical respect for your service.
Let's walk the assessment process. Step 1. Skills audit. This is a conversation where we ask, what did you actually do? Not your last official title, but your tasks, decisions, responsibility, and outcomes. From there, we map your experience to the right qualification under the AQF.
Step 2, portfolio. This is the evidence pack. You provide service records, position descriptions, training certs, performance reports, references or testimonials from supervisors, work samples, and, this is important, short descriptions of how you did the work and what changed because of it. That impact piece punches above its weight.
Step 3. Assessment methods. Depending on the qualification, you might have a professional discussion with an assessor, a practical demonstration, or a workplace simulation to show how you think and act. It's efficient, respectful of your time, and zero gotcha energy.
And let me cut in, because this hung me up for too long. Translating military to civilian language. You're used to, I did my job, end. But your job was coordinating multi-stakeholder operations under high risk with tight timelines. That's marketable. Later in the episode, we'll give you a 2-minute translation trick to do this on your own. Open loop, don't skip ahead.
Timelines. Once your portfolio is in, 4 to 8 weeks is typical to finalize. Complexity, how complete your evidence is, and your availability can nudge that. But it's not a drawn-out saga. We run efficient.
Combine RPL with study? Absolutely. If you're shy a few units, gap training fills the holes. That's smart strategy. Use RPL to credit what you've done, then target your learning for the remaining outcomes. We did a whole arc on careers by upskilling and perks of pursuing business management. I'll combine this with those and you've got real momentum.
Let's pivot into real scenarios because examples beat bullet points. Say you spent 6 years as a combat engineer. You led small teams, planned tasks with tight safety parameters, coordinated equipment and logistics, and trained newer members. RPL could map you into a certificate IV in leadership and management, potentially units toward WHS, and depending on depth, maybe project management at a cert level. Then you tack on gap training and boom, you're competitive for site supervisor or ops coordinator roles.
Or you're a communications tech with field maintenance and system setup. You've managed faults under pressure, documented issues, ensured comms integrity. That's technical competency plus process. RPL could unlock a technical qualification, and with a bit of study, you're in ICT support, network operations, or secure comms roles with a security clearance bonus. Employers love clearance plus capability.
Training NCO? You likely qualify for units toward training and assessment credentials. That's your foot in the door to become a trainer, assessor, or L&D specialist in corporate or vet settings.
Emergency services example, you're a senior firefighter, you've led responses, done risk assessments, managed crew safety, coordinated with other agencies, conducted debriefs, mentored recruits. RPL aligns you to leadership, WHS, and potentially incident management or public safety qualifications. Those carry serious weight in government and industry.
Now, quick FAQ blitz, because these come up every single time. What qualifications can you get through Defence RPL? Leadership and management, project management, business administration, work health and safety, security operations, training and assessment, logistics, and technical specializations. It depends on your role and depth of experience.
How long does it take? 4 to 8 weeks after you submit a complete portfolio. We do our part fast. You help us do it faster by bringing good evidence early.
Can you do it while serving? Yes. Flexible online delivery, evening assessments, and aligned to deployment realities.
What evidence do you need? Service records, position descriptions, training certificates, performance evaluations, testimonials, work samples, and those concise impact stories. If you're sitting there thinking, I don't have neat paperwork, we help you find and frame what you do have.
Do ADF folks get special consideration? They get assessors who understand defence structure, terminology, and competencies. We evaluate fairly and comprehensively with context that respects how you learned.
What about emergency services? Come one, come all. Police, fire, AMBO, SES, emergency management, your experience maps strongly to RPL pathways.
Are 3CIR quals recognised? Yes. They're nationally recognised under the AQF and issued by Asset Training Australia, RTO 31788. Employers across industries understand these credentials.
Portfolio support, you don't do it alone. We provide templates, writing support, evidence checklists, coaching for assessment discussions. We even help translate that military language so you're not underselling yourself.
Can you combine RPL with additional study? We recommend it when needed. Strategic gap training can push you to a higher level qualification or add complementary competencies.
What career outcomes are we talking? Management roles, project coordination, training and development, security consulting, business operations, government contracting, technical roles, WHS, basically, choices, options. Doors.
Let's return to the why now. We've seen too many good people wait. We did an episode called The Secret to Jumpstarting Your Career After Service. RPL is that lever. It turns, I'll look into it, into I've got an interview next week.
And for those navigating heavy stuff, we've talked about PTSD, treatment must get physical, and the realities faced by many veterans take lives. Getting traction in your career can be a stabilizing force. Purpose matters. Progress matters. This is one practical step you can control today.
All right, let's do the 2-minute translation trick we promised. Think of a task you did often. Write it in service speak. For example, planned and executed range activities for platoon. Now translate with 3 prompts. What was the objective? What constraints did you manage? What outcome did you deliver? It becomes led cross-functional project to plan and execute training operations for 30 personnel, managing safety compliance, logistics, scheduling, and stakeholder communication. Achieved 100% qualification rate with 0 incidents. That's hiring language.
Nice. Layer the numbers and scope where you can. How many people? How big a budget? What time frame? What risk? That's how you make your experience visible to recruiters who don't speak military but do speak outcomes.
Common mistakes that slow RPL. 1. Undersharing. People submit bare bones evidence, assuming we'll read between the lines. Give us detail. 2. Perfectionism. Waiting until every document is perfect. Start with what you have. We'll guide the rest. 3. Jargon overload. Replace acronyms with civilian equivalents. We can help translate, but try to meet us halfway.
And a sneaky 4th, tackling it alone. Use us, use your peers, use our community. The 3CIR network is a real thing. People swap tips, share examples, and in more than a few cases, they've hired each other down the line. Camaraderie isn't just a word on the website, it's how the community runs.
Let's talk special veterans benefits again because it's important. The 25% discount applies to all qualifications, RPL assessments, and additional pathways. We also provide career counselling, industry connections, and ongoing PD opportunities. Your transition isn't a moment, it's a season. We're in it with you.
And geography shouldn't be a barrier. We deliver online nationally, and if you're in or around Brisbane, we've got face-to-face support. We've helped people do RPL from mine sites, back decks, hotel rooms on rotation. Whatever life looks like, we fit around it.
Some of you are thinking, which qualification fits me? Easiest move. Jump on the 3CIR website and hit the RPL assessment form. It's the start button, or browse the qualifications page if you want to window shop first. Leadership, project management, WHS, security, business, training and assessment, logistics. There are video explainers too if you want to feel for the content before you commit.
If you've followed our past episodes, deep dive into RPL, why a Cert 2 opens doors to new beginnings, a certificate 3, your first step with 3CIR. You know we're big on stepping stones. Maybe RPL maps you to a Cert IV in leadership and management right now, and then you add a diploma later using gap training. It's not one and done, it's a path.
Another angle we've hit before. Discover the benefits of learning online with 3CIR. RPL is the on-ramp. Once you've credited your past, online study becomes targeted, efficient, and cost-effective. You're not grinding through basics you already nailed in the field.
Quick story time. A mate of ours, ex-RAF, shift lead in maintenance. He thought his experience wouldn't translate neatly because of the platform specifics. He did RPL, got a leadership qualification plus credit toward a technical qual, did 2 gap units online, and landed a role in a civilian maintenance operation with a pay bump and better hours. The kicker? He used the same risk tools he used on base, just with a different logo on the top of the form.
On the employer side, hiring managers keep telling us the same thing. Show me the piece of paper so HR clears you, then show me you can do the work. RPL gives you the paper, your service gave you the capability. That combination is potent.
And for those of you who lost faith in paperwork after fighting the Veterans Affairs Office systems, we hear you. This isn't that. This is streamlined, practical, and led by assessors who understand your background. The process respects your time and your record.
Let's go back to the skills audit for a second because it's such a powerful moment. You might come in saying, I just did logistics. We'll pull the thread and discover you also built rosters, trained people, ran toolbox talks, escalated safety issues, and adjusted plans with changing intel. That's leadership, WHS, project control, and stakeholder management embedded in your logistics role.
That reminds me of our episode, Continue Enhancing Leadership. RPL is a recognition step, but it also shines a torch on what to grow next. Maybe your audit shows you're strong in operations but light in digital project tools. Great. Gap training it is. Or you're gold at on-the-ground leadership but want to aim for strategy. Hello. Advanced Business Management quals. We did a sequence on upskill in business management. Upgrade your qualifications with business management, key takeaways from business management courses. There's a reason we hammer those. Leadership plus business is a career escalator.
And don't forget security. We've talked about secure your organization's online presence. If you've got risk, security, or clearance experience, that's a wedge into cyber-adjacent roles too, especially with focused gap training.
For those who've had a tough landing post-discharge, unemployment sucks. We did unemployment for veterans because the stats can get grim. RPL won't solve every barrier, but it removes a massive one, the piece of paper gap. You stop getting filtered out by automated systems and you start getting calls.
All right, let's build your 3-step starter plan. 1. Check your eligibility and goals. Hit the 3CIR RPL assessment form and tell us your story. Roles, years, key tasks. If you're not sure what to aim for, pick 2 or 3 interest areas. We'll help match them.
2. Gather low-hanging fruit evidence, service record summaries, course certificates, position descriptions, a recent performance statement, add 1 testimonial from a supervisor if you can, even a short one. That takes 30 minutes and gives us lift-off.
3. Write 2 impact statements, 1 leadership example, 1 risk or safety example. Use the formula: objective, constraints, outcome. Keep it tight. This pulls your experience into civilian shape fast, and it's useful beyond RPL. You'll reuse it in your CV and interviews.
Speaking of interviews, we've got an episode called 17 Questions Before a New Job. Pair that with your new qualification and you'll run interviews like a mission brief. No waffle, clear outcomes, and you'll actually know whether the role fits you, not just whether you fit the role.
Let's hit something that gets asked in DMs a lot. Is RPL just rubber stamping? No, it's proper assessment against the AQF using training.gov.au units and ASCOA standards. But it's also realistic and practical. It respects how you actually learned. If you've got the skill, it'll show. If there's a gap, we close it with training.
And because someone will ask if your service was a while ago and you feel rusty, you can still do RPL. We'll look at the totality of your experience, recency where needed, and we can design a combined RPL plus gap plan. The point is getting you moving, not gatekeeping your past.
Another question. What if I only did administrative roles? Admin in defense is not basic admin. You handled sensitive information, triaged priority tasks, supported operations, solved problems under time pressure, and communicated up and down the chain. That's business admin and operations with muscle. Don't sell it short.
Here's a power tip. We talked about it in RPL Transforms Military Experience and again in 3CIR's ADF RPL Solutions. Keep a small living evidence folder on your phone or drive. When you remember a task or find a doc, throw it in. 5 minutes today saves 2 hours later.
For those wanting to see what these quals look like in action, check 3CIR's video explainers. Leadership, HR, WHS, security, business, marketing, government, project management. Quick overviews that give you a feel for the outcomes and roles they feed into. If you're a visual learner, they're perfect pre-work.
And then there's the mental shift. We did continual learning as a theme because after service, some of us feel like the peak is behind us. Not true. The peak is the moment you decide to aim again. RPL is a marker in the ground saying, what I built in uniform has value here too.
If you need an on-ramp at the entry level, we've said it before. Why a cert is so opens doors to new beginnings. Sometimes the smartest move is to grab a cert 2 or 3 quickly, move into an industry, and let momentum do the work. The 3CIR approach supports that laddering. We meet you where you are.
Quick nod to our mates in community and tech. We did with you, with me, a while back, highlighting opportunities for veterans in digital careers. RPL often forms the backbone of that pivot. Leadership or project quals plus targeted tech training equals a clean transition into project, product, or cyber pathways.
Let's zoom out for a moment. Why is Defense RPL a game changer? Because it changes the story from I left the Defense Force and had to start over to I translated my service into civilian currency and scaled from there. That's dignity. That's momentum. That's impact on your family, your health, and your future.
Boom. Okay. Rapid fire mythbuster. Slate. Ready? RPL is only for officers. False. NCOs and enlisted often have the richest practical evidence. Some of the best RPL outcomes we've seen are from corporals and sergeants who ran the real-world machine.
RPL is too hard if I moved units a lot. False. Movement can show variety and depth. We'll help connect the dots.
My evidence isn't formal enough. False. We work with what you've got and help you craft solid narratives. Testimonials and duty statements count, so do training logs and after-action reports.
Employers don't care about certificates. False. They care about capability. The certificate is your ticket through the filters so you can show your capability.
RPL is expensive. False in context. Compared to full-time study and time out of work, it's a bargain, especially with the 25% veteran and emergency services discount. You get ROI fast.
All right, let's stitch this to action. If you're listening at the gym or in the ute between jobs, don't try to plan your whole career today. Do one thing. Go to 3CIR and fill out the RPL assessment form. 2 minutes. Tell us who you are and what you did. That's your go signal.
Then pick a video explainer and watch it tonight. Leadership, WHS, security, project management. Whatever catches your eye, that's your direction. Tomorrow, throw 3 documents into your evidence folder. Done. 3 days, 3 small moves, and you've got a live process underway.
And if you hit a snag, reach out. The assessor team has deep defense context. We've mapped roles from infantry to intel, cooks to commanders, techs to trainers. We know the pathways. We'll help you find the quickest, cleanest one for your goals.
Before we close, I want to circle back to respect. The 5 tenets we mentioned, courage, commitment, camaraderie, integrity, respect, we know you carried those in service. Our job is to reflect them back to you now. This isn't charity, it's recognition.
Well said. And for those on the fence, think of RPL as your translation layer. You already did the hard part under pressure. This is the admin that opens the door, not the admin that keeps you out.
Next week, we're tackling something that freaks people out almost as much as their first day out of uniform: how to talk about your service without the jargon. We'll break down real CV lines, LinkedIn profiles, and interview answers, and show you how to ditch acronyms without dumbing down your story.
We might even read a few brave listener submissions live and tune them up on air. Don't worry, we'll be kind. Firm, but kind.
Cheeky, but fair. Before you bounce, quick recap: Defense RPL turns your military and emergency services experience into nationally recognised quals under the AQF. 3CIR specialises in this, partnered with Asset Training Australia, RTO 31788. The process is a skills audit, portfolio evidence and assessment, all designed around your life. Timelines are 4 to 8 weeks. Veterans and emergency services get 25% off, and you can combine RPL with gap training to level up.
Explore the qualifications page, hit the RPL assessment form, and browse the video explainers to get clarity fast. Your experience is already valuable. Let's make it visible.
You've got this, and we've got you. See you next time for the Jargon Detox. Bring your acronyms. We'll bring the translation.
Take action today. Momentum is your friend.